Hey, what's up everybody? It's Megan reporting live from the big comfy couch, of course. In today's video, I'm going to go into full detail the pros, cons, and things to be mindful of with the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM, aka the everybody and their mama bag. No, but for real, I could see why this bag remains super popular because it is huge, it can carry everything, and it's just a classic bag. If you want to know those pros and cons, definitely keep on watching. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Let me go ahead and get my first baby here. She's not such a baby, but she's my baby, which is the Louis Vuitton Neverfull MM. That's the size, MM. And I have it in the monogram canvas. Isn't she beautiful? She looks brand new, doesn't she? It practically is brand new. I think I've only carried this maybe 10 to 20 times, which seems like a lot, but when you think about me having it for, I guess, a little over a year, it's really not that much. But yeah, I mean, it's in pristine condition. It's beautiful, it's perfect. I'll show you guys the actual bag real fast. It comes with this lovely pouch, which can also be used as a wristlet. It has a hook in here that the pouch can attach to. But when you don't want to use the whole bag, if I can unclip it here, it turns into a wonderful, handy little wristlet pouch thingy. And I'll go ahead and show you guys how it looks inside. You know, a very small little pouch, has an inner pocket. Can be very handy as a clutch when you're going out somewhere and you don't need a huge bag. Now also inside of the actual bigger bag, there is a zipper compartment. This bag's not gonna cooperate much with me. I'll show you guys here. A nice roomy little pocket. You could put your phone in, a wallet. But yeah, and it's pretty damn roomy, if you ask me. I was gonna do a what fits in my bag for this also, but let's face it, everything is gonna fit in this bag. Oh, I forgot to show that it also has this little hook right here that could clip in. I guess I really don't know what the purpose of this is, because I mean, it doesn't close the bag, but it helps it to like not completely fall open, but it's there if you want to use it. Oh, that is the bag, and this size is the MM, so this is the medium size bag. So I feel like this one is the perfect size for every day. And there's also, before I forget, the way you can cinch up the bag right here. I forgot how it goes, you guys, I'm sorry. But it cinches up right here. I think it's to where it's still not as open. It really still doesn't do that much, but you do have the option, but I rarely see people wearing it cinched up. It's just the bag in itself. Now, personally, I haven't seen anybody in person who's, well, no, wait, I take that back. I think when I was working at the airport, I did see someone who had the PM size, which is the smaller size, and I saw people all the time that had the GM. Now, if you're not sure what size to get, I highly recommend sticking with this size, because unless you've seen it in person and you're still okay with getting the GM is huge. I don't see any reason why a woman needs to carry that much stuff with her every day unless you're using it for the airport when you're going on trips, because it's practically a duffel bag. And I'm being for real. It is a duffel bag. This is the MM, the GM, I don't know if you guys could see, is like probably that wide. I don't know if you guys could see, it's so much wider than this. And I was debating as well, because even though I saw it in person, the size, you really don't get a true feel for the size until you hold it and you see how much space is in there. But I do not recommend the GM unless you're using it as a work bag or like a little cute travel bag to carry your personal necessities, an extra change of clothes, what have you. But if you want something every day, get the MM. You're gonna be happy. It is enough space. And I also wanna show what you'll get when you buy it in store. Now this bag, unlike my Dior, I did buy in store and I loved it. You have to have the experience. Now, since I got this for my birthday, which is in December of 2019, I got the holiday bag, which I love. Can we talk about this bag? This is the most beautiful shopping bag I've ever seen. Like, this is art to me. It really, really is. I wish I had an extra bag. Probably would have to buy it somewhere, but I wish I had an extra bag, because when I get like a real house one day, I would love to have this up somewhere as like artwork, because this bag is just visually stunning. It has that 3D effect and it's colorful, but it still has a luxe look to it, and just amazing. Amazing, beautiful bag. And you'll also get your box, of course, Louis Vuitton, or as I like to jokingly call it, Louis Vuitton. Long story about how I call it that. I won't bore you with the details. Empty box. Of course, I took the purse out, and you get this nice spacious dust bag. And the box comes tied up in this ribbon, or at least holiday it came out with this ribbon. And lastly, you have your receipt holder, or I call it a receipt holder. I don't know if there's a name for it. So in December of 2019, I paid $1,390 for the bag itself, and after tax, the total came out to $1,504.68. Okay, so, you know, it was a fair price. The price has definitely gone up, I could tell you that. And we'll get more into that later. The first pro that I have with this bag is that obviously it is very, very spacious. I mean, you can fit probably anything you want in this bag and it will fit. It just has so much empty space. It's wide, it has depth to it. It has a couple pockets that you could use for like your valuables, things you don't want floating around in the bag. Now, since this bag is pretty much just a bag with a whole bunch of depth in it, I recommend getting a purse organizer for it, and that will help you organize your things into different compartments. There's this big zipper part, and you have inner compartments that you can separate, or you can just keep your stuff at the bottom here. And you also have side compartments and also another separate zippered pocket. And there's also, on this one at least, there's a little thing that you could hook to, and there's also a little key ring here just in case you need to clip, and you just stick it in the bag here. Hopefully I'll be able to show you guys how it looks. It still gives you enough room to put stuff on the side of it, but it kind of keeps it to where you have things organized and things aren't just filled out to the bottom of the bag. I highly recommend getting one of those. You can get whatever color you want. I got this one from Amazon. I forgot what size this was. It's either the medium or the large. I probably could have gone one size bigger, because I mean it is kind of shifting in the bag, but I like the option of having extra space on the side as well. But that's just me. You would have to get the measurements and see which size would work for you. But yes, if you're getting a Neverfull, definitely get one of these. It's going to save your life and make things so much easier. The second pro that I have is that this bag is super durable. Now, the Neverfulls are made out of coated canvas. Since it's coated, you don't have to really worry about any rips or tears, unless you're really being super careless about the bag. You're just throwing it everywhere. You're not really taking care of it, with the exception of the trim and the handle straps here, those are made of vachetta leather, and the side cinchers here, sorry, well, the adjusters are the correct term. Those are also made out of vachetta, but everything else, the body of the bag, is that coated canvas. Sometimes I have to be reminded that it is not leather, monogram canvas, so it's just super durable and it's gonna last you years. You can pass this down from generation to generation if you really take care of it, which is what I plan on doing. My next pro is that this particular bag is not super expensive. Now, when I say not super expensive, I'm not trying to say that this is an affordable bag by any means. I'm not saying that, oh, you can just drop $1,500, no big deal. It's definitely a big deal. But when you compare other bags from other designers of this size, you usually will see that this one is cheaper. And that's probably because a lot of other designers don't really use coated canvas. It's usually going to be leather or some kind of other material. But I think for what you pay for this, I think the money is worth it in the end. Probably why this is super popular is because it's a starter bag, it's a good price, and you get a lot for what you're paying for. If this bag was in Chanel, this would probably be a $5,000 bag. Just period. Their tote bags, Chanel's tote bags, are $5,000 base price. Regular, not even coated canvas, just a regular canvas. So just imagine getting this for $1,500 instead of Chanel paying $5,000-$6,000 or more. Dior possibly paying $4,000 or $5,000. Designer and luxury wise, it's hard to say this, but this is a bargain. The fourth pro that I have is that this is a classic bag. This bag has been around for years. You don't have to worry about this getting dated, because usually a lot of the trendier bags, sometimes they are trendy for a moment, then they start getting played out and people are like, girl, what are you doing with this bag? Like, that's out of style. Like, get with it. And you won't have to worry about that with this. Now, it's a everybody and their mama bag, but it's a classic bag. So you could wear this in 10 years and not have to feel like you're wearing a dated bag. It's gonna stand and last through the test of time. I think this could possibly have really good resale value, but I'm not an expert when it comes to the resale luxury market. But I still don't see anything wrong with buying this bag and it not looking good in 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Okay, and my fifth pro is that this is a pretty easy bag to find, which is kind of good, but it's kind of weird at the same time because this bag is still pretty popular. But since the demand isn't really that high for it, it remains easily available. Now, unlike the multi-pochette accessoire, which is a super trendy bag right now, which is always sold out and you probably will have no luck in ever getting it in your life if you really want it. To me, I think it's okay. I'd wear it, but I'm not like, oh my God, I need it. But yeah, unlike that bag, this is pretty easy to find and probably will be. Now, sometimes you might find that a specific material or interior lining color may be out of stock for the moment, but that's gonna be a temporary thing. A couple of the epi leather variations were, well, both of them, I think they were out, or I think it was just all in black. Those were out of stock, and the damier azur was out of stock too, especially in the baby pink interior lining. I think both of them were, but yeah, they were out of stock. But this one, I believe they were all in stock when I checked, but no, actually I lie. I think just with the cherry lining was only available. You guys get what I mean. There's gonna be one available at some point. It's not gonna take months for them to restock this because they know it's popular in itself. It comes with this separate pouch. Now, sometimes, especially if you're going out to eat to a restaurant or just going out about on the town at night, you might not always want to take this big bag with you. If you're going to like a fancy dinner, I could maybe see taking this if you really just don't feel like changing bags. It doesn't hold a lot of stuff in it, so you have to be super selective of what you take with you. but you probably could get like a card holder. Usually I can get like a card holder, a mask for the time being, and my phone. My keys, like it's either or. Like if I want to put keys in here, I can't put my phone. I just keep my phone in my hand, but even though it's not super big, it's still kind of nice to have. I mean, usually we have pockets or we have our phone in our hand anyway, not a huge deal. But that's the biggest selling point, is that you get a 2-for-1 with your money. You're not limited with just one bag, you have 2. So no matter what the occasion, you ready. And sister girl, you gonna stay ready with this extra little pouch right here. And it's a wristlet too, so you don't even have to carry it in your hand. And this is it detachable? It might be detachable, but I'm scared of unlooping this part together. I think you would have to do it. It's fine, you could still carry it under your arm as a clutch. So it's all good for me, because the sis loves her a 2-for-1 bag. I like having some options here, okay? All right, now it's time for the cons. And the first con that I have about this bag, which I think is the most obvious one when looking at it, is that the bag has no real closures. Now, as I showed you the bag, it's just open, just chilling like this. And what I also showed you is that you can clip these little 2 things together, but as you can see, it does nothing except kind of make it limited to the amount that it can open. And you could use the adjusters to cinch, even though, like I said, I don't know how to do it right. I think you have to fold it together and then cinch it. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you get the idea. It's like this. It's still going to be somewhat open. So if you have a whole bunch of stuff and you're driving around and you hit a deep curve and you kind of, your stuff will fall out. I mean, just being real, like it's gonna fall out. So if you have a bunch of little knickknacks, pins, coins, you're gonna be one angry bitch when you have to pick it all up off of the floor. So keep that in mind. Or if it's on the desk, just chilling, table, oops, I bumped into it, oops, it's all over the floor. You're gonna hate yourself, especially if you don't have an organizer and your stuff is just all thrown in the bag. Another con of there not being any real closures to this is that if you're walking, around, you're not paying attention, it ain't nothing for somebody to reach behind you and start going through your bag and taking stuff. Or if you leave it unattended, somebody could pretend like they're tying their shoes in. If your bag's on the ground, they can be like, oh, let me go through sis' bag and see what she got. Oh, I'm leaving with something today. It's just really easy to get in here. So keep that in mind if you plan on buying it, because your things will be out in the open, dear. And if you're not ready, you're gonna get swindled, so be careful. The next con, number 2, that I have listed here is that the trim and the handles are made out of vachetta leather. Now, for those who aren't familiar with vachetta leather, this tan, well, I forgot to say the adjusters too here that kind of sit in the back. This is all made out of vachetta leather. And if you're not familiar with vachetta leather, this is an untreated cowhide. With it being untreated, it's going to age and get darker over time. And that also leaves it susceptible to getting stained. Now, water could stain this leather, the oils from your hand could stain this leather, pretty much anything. So if you want to keep it pristine like this, you pretty much almost have to baby this bag. You have to be really, really careful. Everybody is different with the way that they carry their bags. If you just throw it here, throw it there, and if water gets on this bag is going to get water stains on it. But if you're meticulous and you take care of your bags, then I don't see a big deal with it. And I'm sure that you've seen people out and about with this bag, and the vachetta leather is a little bit darker than what you see here. They've probably been having that bag a long time, because as this gets exposed to sunlight, it's going to get darker. That's how the bag starts aging, is through exposure to sunlight. So if you see people with the nice honey patina. Theirs is aging really nicely, but most people want that honey patina. Now patina is what that process is called. Most people want that honey patina because it gets that nice caramel color. What I'm gonna show you guys is what your bag will look like if you don't take care of it. Now, there's nothing technically wrong with this bag because it looks nice from far, and to be honest, I gotta be real, this is a Louis. This is a replica bag, it's not real, but doesn't it look real? Like, I would still carry this around if it were to zip. It doesn't zip anymore. Well, it does right here, but it doesn't unzip. It doesn't unzip, I should say. I can't get it to unzip anymore. That's why I had to retire it. But I'm always gonna keep this because it's my first ever semi-luxury bag, but not really. You see how all of these marks are on here? This is all from water, the oils from my hand. And I remember this like it was yesterday, but my cousin like threw her key somewhere and some candle wax got over it. So these little spots here are all from that too. There used to be a big one. Where is it? I don't know. Oh, it's right here. There's a big spot. You probably can't see it on camera, but I remember it being a huge spot whenever that candle wax got over it, and it was ruined from that point. But when you look at the actual color of the handles, it's a beautiful color if you ignore the markings on it. Like from far away, you probably honestly couldn't tell, but up close, yeah, it's not the greatest looking. But can we talk about this fake too? This Louis, it even came with the lock. If I were to open it, it came with like a code. It had keys. It was perfect. Like, I would still be using this. You can't tell me this doesn't look like a real Speedy. It has the Louis Vuitton embossed right there. Okay, enough about that, but this Louis so much. And Louis is fake Louis. Get it? Ultimately, if you want that to happen to your bag, I believe I read somewhere that you have to leave it by a window in some sunlight. I think you want to avoid overexposing it to sunlight because I think that messes up the bag. But there's also videos for how people do their own treating of the leather and they're able to get it to the honey patina. If you're just gonna throw your bag everywhere, be prepared that this is gonna get marks on it. Because even from the simple oils of your hand, if you carry it in your hands like this all the time, the daily wear of you having oils on your hand from lotion and just natural oils is gonna make marks on the bag also. So those are all very important things to keep in mind. So like I said, in my opinion, I don't think it's a deal breaker, but if you're not the type of person that wants to go through all that for a bag you're paying this much money for, then I would start looking for another bag. I baby this bag so much to the point where I don't even go out in the rain with this because the patina process is unavoidable. Like if I were to use this every day since I bought it in 2019, it would not look like this, I'm pretty sure. If you're spending your dollars and your cash flow on this, you want it to look nice. That's how I feel anyway, but to each their own, okay? Everybody does what they want with their money. All right, I'm just saying. If you don't want to have to baby your bag this much, you may want to consider the Damier Ebene material because it's gonna have the darker trim and handles and you won't have to worry about that. So I would get either that one or think about paying more for epi leather. The third con that I have is that the straps for this bag are pretty small and thin. So of course, as I've been mentioning throughout this whole video, this is a pretty nice size bag that could hold a lot of things in it. But if you notice, look how skinny the straps are. You get 2 straps, yes, but for a bag that's meant to carry a lot of things, if you start filling and packing this up with a lot of stuff, there's a possibility that you can start to get wear and tear on your straps right here, either where it seams right here or at the top. You don't want it to start cracking or tearing, the seams to start to come apart due to the weight. Because for example, I have my work computer here. If I put it in there, Oops, let me undo this. If I put my work computer in here, there's plenty of space in here to still fill up with a whole bunch of stuff. Like I could try to put a water bottle in here. I could try to put lunch in here. I could put other work essentials in here, and it actually doesn't feel that heavy. So if you imagine putting a whole bunch of other necessities in here, and if you do that on the daily, what is gonna happen? It's gonna start to put stress at the bottom, and it's gonna start to put stress right here. And if you wear it on your shoulder, it actually doesn't feel that bad, but it may start wearing and tearing there as well. So be mindful of that, because I'm not sure how much this is meant to really hold. Every once in a while, if you need to lug a computer or something heavy around in this, I think you'd be okay. But if you like were to use this as a work bag all the time, I think it's the condition, like especially of the leather, is gonna start to deteriorate. And even though this coated canvas is a pretty good, sturdy, heavy duty material, I worry about the piping down here, and the seams may burst after constant heavy use of the bag. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And yeah, I also wish it kind of dropped a little bit more on the shoulder. Like I wish it came down a little lower to where you had more arm room, but that's a small complaint of the bag for me. But yes, and it all just depends on how you carry it too. If you carry it at the crook of your arm, might not be as bad as your shoulder, but I carry it at my shoulder. I definitely don't hold it in my hand. Okay, and the fourth and last con that I have about this bag is the constant price increases. Now, of course, this isn't relating to the actual bag, like the functionality, the looks, or anything like that. But I feel like it's important to note this, because most of us, including me, we usually have to plan out and start saving if there's a particular bag that we want and we are liking and loving. And price increases are nothing new when it comes to buying luxury designer bags. Now, for instance, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I paid before taxes $1,390 for this bag. After taxes, it was like $1,504. On the website now, the Neverfull MM is $1,540 before tax. So that means from at least December 2019, I'm not sure how long that price stayed in effect until they did their next price increase, but in a little over a year, this bag went up $150. I got this bag after tax for less than it is before tax now, which is crazy to me. It's really unfair for the people who they love luxury and they want to get like their first bag or maybe a second bag, and they're like, oh, I just need to save $1,500. Okay, cool. But by the time it's time to buy it, it'll be almost $1,700. Like, that's not fair to me. And they don't owe it to us to keep the prices the same. Like, they know we're gonna spend the money on, let's say this one is $1,540 now. I would just save $1,700, because you're gonna have to worry about tax, a possible price increase. I'm not sure actually how many times a year they do a price increase. I think maybe 1 or 2 times. They're not bad like Chanel. I think Chanel in 2020 did 3 price increases. Could be wrong. Again, correct me down below if I am. Although we don't want to pay any more for a bag than what it's worth, if you really want something, doesn't even have to be this, like any designer bag, get it while you can. Now, $100 to $200 extra might not seem like a lot when you're thinking of luxury, but not everyone could afford that extra $100 or $200. But I feel like when you buy luxury, it's not the same as buying just a regular purse. You have to be prepared for that price increase. Once you're able to get it, buy it, because the price is only gonna go up from here. It's not ever gonna get any lesser. Unless you wanna buy something pre-loved and used, that's always an option too, if you really just don't see yourself paying $1,500 for a bag like this, because probably in 2-3 years, this is probably gonna be close to $2,000. So if you wanna save money, buy it now. I'm not condoning impulse purchases, even though I tend to do that. But for luxury, I thoroughly think things out when it comes to that, because this type of money is no joke. All right, everybody, that's pretty much all of the pros and cons and things to be mindful of that I have for you guys today. If you have the bag, or if you're planning on getting it, if you have any questions, or if you have any extra insight on like something I didn't go into detail in the video, of course, let me know down below. And of course, I thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in today, and I'm gonna see y'all next time. Bye.